Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Man, how about them Cowboys? Just got home. Was actually watching a game with some Saints friends, and it was remarkable to see the confidence of so many people in the bar we were at. Many Saints fans, a lot of people from the Louisiana area that live here in Austin. Just to see the confidence slowly fade throughout this football game to get today. And look, I've been a critic of this coaching staff, and I don't, at this point we probably are expecting a 5-year extension for Jason Garrett from Jerry Jones and whatnot. But in all seriousness, they had a good game plan today, and look, the confidence bled into this team, starting with the DeMarcus Lawrence, coming out there and it just, talking trash, speaking his truth, and being unapologetic about it. I wish I got the opportunity to do a preview video this week because I loved it. I really did love it, and I felt I was on with picking the Saints until I heard him start talking, because that told me several things. Number one, he's not the type of person to just start talking for no reason. He felt good about what the defense was going to do and how they matched up from either what they saw in film or just from a personnel standpoint. You could tell he was like, nah, like we're matchup for matchup, we're going to choke these dudes out. And that's exactly how they played out defensively tonight. The other thing is, one of the ways the Saints have been bullying people, and the Saints, in a good way, right? They've come out, they put 50 points on the Bengals. They come out and blow the doors off the Eagles. They, when they played the Redskins, they had a freaking Drew Brees ceremony in the middle of the game. They've embarrassed teams. Atlanta could have been in the game, but they make Calvin Ridley fumble in the end zone. Like all these things that where they've really got inside of people's heads and really have developed a reputation as one of the league contenders. And I don't think that changes tonight after tonight's Cowboys victory. But DeMarcus Lawrence, that is, coming out and just talking trash and getting that psychological saying, no, I don't care if you guys, and the only way to go after ability is to come forward. And I don't think, people are saying before the game, oh, it's not wise to talk trash. First of all, what do you have to lose? Everybody thinks you're going to get blown out anyway. You might as well start talking trash, because then at least if, the Saints are like, yeah, why are they so confident? Because and then I had people saying, well, the Saints may have overlooked the Cowboys, but then DeMarcus Lawrence starts talking trash and Jerry Jones says Super Bowl. You know what? Every week the Cowboys play a football game, it's the Super Bowl, because it's the Cowboys. So when you're dealing with America's team, and I know people are going to get annoyed, America's team sound like that fan, but it's the reality of the situation. Whenever we play anyone, we always get their best shot because we're Dallas. So him talking trash, I like it because I don't think we talk enough, and that's one of the things where we really had that flair in the 90s. But now you have a guy coming back talking trash. Who cares? We're going to get their best shot anyway. The Saints were already talking about coming back to Dallas after they beat Atlanta last week, because it's homecoming for so many of their players. So many guys are from Texas. So many guys grew up Cowboys fans. They're showing the clips of Drew Brees when he's playing for Westlake in the old Texas Stadium. So, who cares? Go out there, balls to the wall, whatever, man. And I love that trash talk carried into the demeanor of the football team. That defense tonight, they are underrated, and they showed the NFL world that they are a legitimate, stout, talented, young, high-flying defense. And they finally got the turnovers and the sacks to start to justify how well they've been playing all season. One of the things is, though, they haven't gotten some of those game-breaking turnovers and whatnot to really add themselves to the conversation. All that's changed. When Drew Brees only has 127 yards, when you hold Ingram and Kamara to 65 yards total, you held them to less than 50 snaps on offense, because you have the 3 and outs. all repeatedly in the first half. They had basically no time of possession, and complimentary football by the offense. And we have to give the offense credit. Yes, they only scored 13 points. Yes, they did not score in the second half. And yes, there were times where they missed some plays. It was frustrating. We had 2 turnovers, but we converted on third downs. We consistently moved the chains. We ate up the clock and kept the ball out of Drew Brees' hands. And the thing is, when you're a high-flying offense and you don't have the ball that much, you start to press. And you see Drew Brees start trying to force the ball a little bit. On top of that, even when he was completing passes to his receivers, tight coverage all over the place. So there was Anthony Brown, Cheeto, Byron Jones, traveled today. I like the what Marinelli and Chris Richard did, mixing in just some man every now and again inside of their cover 3 and cover 2 concepts. I thought it made Drew Brees hold the ball just a tick longer trying to identify that. You even saw Byron travel a little bit today. And yeah, he gave up some stuff. Michael Thomas is good and whatnot. But overall, 127 yards. That is a huge win for the Cowboys. Going back to the offense, much talk, Zeke going against the number 1 rush defense in the league. And one of the things I was telling friends at work, and people that were asking my thoughts on the game, hey, Saints defense up front, fundamentally, very sound. They play contained very well. They don't get out of their lanes. But it's easier to play run defense when you're putting 28 points up on the board in the first and second quarter on people, and people get so far behind, they have to throw their way out of these situations. So one of the things we were able to do is just by getting that field goal on the first drive, just by getting up, you can still hand the ball off. You can still mix it up. Even though we weren't the most, I think Zeke only had 70-something yards on the ground, only averaged about 3.3 yards per carry, but short yardage runs, very effective, was able to move the chains, and we were able to mix it up with our pass and stay on time, stay ahead of downs when we didn't have holding calls and sacks. All of that leads to an efficient performance, and again, another week where they utilize Zeke in the pass game, where he has another 6 catches for 60 yards. He's now a complete running back, pass blocking, running, and catching and receiving out of the backfield. So just that's the product, that's the recipe for when you're facing a team like that. Hold possession of the ball and then play great defense. Everything's contested. You're going to give some things up at times. And honestly, they shouldn't have scored. We have the bonehead thing with Randy Gregory on the punt. Some people saying, oh, he tripped or whatever. I don't care. You can't run to the punter. That cost us 7 points right there. I was livid, ready to cut him on the spot. The offsides, though, I thought that was that was a nitpick call, and the referee struggled tonight. There's no doubt about it on both sides. I mean, there was plays where there's argument about Jalen Smith, who had a fantastic game, goal line stop that I'm glad they highlighted. Troy and Joe Buck, how much ground he covered, 15 yards to get to Kamara, keep him out of the end zone before they go for it and do not convert. Leighton Vander Esch is a star at this point, guys. No other way around it. I could tell some of the PR folks told him he needs to get a celebration because he's just out there living it up with Jalen, and I love it. The vibe. Jordan Lewis able to make a play, but overall, like Jalen Smith, going back to that, he has the targeting penalty on, or what should have been a targeting penalty. Then our quarterback, luckily there was hands to the face twice, but the first time it was a really bad face mask. No call. The Randy Gregory thing where, to me, I thought he was lined up right on the, I felt like that was nitpicking. And the referees just were too involved in today's game. And because they got too involved, the game itself aesthetically was very, very sloppy, not sharp. But when you're playing a team like the Saints and the game gets sloppy and all these things start to happen, we're at home. Definitely plays into our favor. Now, if we go into a playoff game, because right now the playoffs are looking more and more realistic for the Cowboys, I'm sure people that are fans of the Eagles and Redskins mark this one down as a loss for us. So for us to stay ahead in the NFC is huge. But if we have to go to New Orleans, we've now introduced doubt to them. I'm not saying we'd be favored. I'm not saying we'd beat them twice. But what I am saying is there's doubt. There's doubt for Drew Brees. Drew Brees got hit a lot tonight. He got hit hard. Some of those nickel blitzes and the blitz he had before he threw the drive before he threw the pick to Jordan Lewis. He was not seeing some of these things. And quite frankly, get to the quarterback, Dak Prescott outplayed Drew Brees. And Dak Prescott, he had his normal. It's funny, he had a very odd game. He has a point in the game where he completes 18 consecutive passes, goes 24 of 28, which is fantastic, almost 250 yards. We'll take that. But then he has 7 sacks and the fumbles, and that's a concern coming out of the game. To me, it's the fumbles. The throw to Gallup, he was slightly off in my opinion. That ball, that's where his mechanics kind of failed him a little bit. Don't wind up, just put the ball on the receiver when he's that wide open. If there was coverage, then I understand, but like I said with the mechanics, when you start to wind up and do all that, that's when the ball starts to get a little bit more arc and starts to sail a little bit. But the fumbles, he has to protect the ball in the pocket, especially when you're missing 3 offensive linemen in the game. And I also noticed, like, even when we were throwing out of our end zone, we didn't get penalized for this, but his clock, he has to speed up a little bit. And also the route combinations need to be better as well. There were some times where, we're starting to see that double coverage with Amari Cooper, which is great. That's one of the reasons why we got him. But then I'm seeing on the other side, Michael Gallup, who had a lot of success early in the game, he's now running, a 2-yard, it wasn't even a shallow cross. I don't know what the hell it was. It was more like a little arrow route. I'm like, if Amari's going to get doubled, my number 2 wide receiver in conjunction with my slot receiver, Cole Beasley, they got to run real routes. I mean, it can't just be everything deep square into Amari or the deep comeback. So we still have some work to do there, but just Amari's presence as well as Zeke being able to be utilized in the passing game basically as an extension of the run game has helped Dak remain on time. And overall, he is playing very good football from the quarterback position. This defense is allowing him to kind of take his time and develop and really develop his chemistry with Amari and just get more snaps and learn. But anytime you go against one of the great players of all time and Drew Brees and you really outplay them, it does say a lot. And there were some I'll never question Dak's toughness, his guts, some of the scrambles he had, very timely, the quarterback draw, very timely. That's my quarterback. And I like the path of development that he's on, even despite the things that he still needs to clean up. And quarterbacking is tough, man. Drew Brees missed a lot of throws tonight, if you look at his side, and had one of his worst games in a very, very long time. The Saints had a bad game as well today, just being honest. But any given week, you can come up with a dub in the league, and credit to this young Cowboys defense and that energy, that belief was led by DeMarcus Lawrence and the owner. Got to give credit to Jerry Jones, hyping this thing up, the salesman that he is. Again, it's Dallas. What's the hurt in hyping up the game when the game's going to be big anyway? You already know everybody in the media. Now, I am interested to see how certain pundits in the media tomorrow, since we were the only show in town in terms of football tonight, how the spin happens tomorrow. Are we going to start doubting the Saints? Because I'm starting to notice, every week that we win, and we've won 4 weeks in a row, Colin Cowherd's been on a mission to discredit everything Cowboys related. And some of these other guys, Stephen A. Smith is up to his normal antics, is what it is. But I'm really curious to see what the tone is in the media tomorrow regarding this Cowboys team. Are people going to put forth objective football opinions, or are we going to start to push certain narratives? Because anytime we defeat someone, they automatically start taking the opponent. We can never just have a good, solid win against a great football team. So we'll see. But I'm very, very pleased. great time to celebrate. You know, it's going to be a fun Sunday and Monday night, you know, with the Redskins playing the Eagles, just sitting back and seeing how things play out. But everything is in front of us, a lot of momentum. Those guys in the locker room should feel a whole nother level of belief in their football team and what they did tonight. So how about them? I'll celebrate with y'all later. Hitting up Arlington for the UT Oklahoma Big 12 championship game. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of stuff coming out of that this weekend. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you.